Oh, good day, folks. So I'm going to start the first of the cleanups. The knives I picked up this weekend at Nadine's Touch. The first one we're going to work at is this little one here. It is the Midaka. Now, I haven't found anything out about that brand yet, or that maker. I'm not going to let that stop me from cleaning the knife up. As you can see, there's quite a bit of tarnish on the blade. A few scratches. The tip looks like it took a good hard whack at some point and blunted it. See, the metal's rolled a little bit there. A lot of tarnish on the bolsters and some rust. Same with the pins. Covers are in pretty good shape. I gave it a soak in some mineral oil, so that hopefully tightened them up a little bit. Back spring has a lot of tarnish, some rust. The channel is pretty rusty. There you go. A lot of cleanup needed in there. And other than that, I gave it a good soak in mineral oil, so hopefully that has loosened up some of the grime inside. So I think we'll probably start with that. Try and clear the channel out. Clear the pivot up a little bit, get some of the grime out of there. You can see there's quite a bit coming out already. So that's where we'll get to work. Okay, so I'm recording without my microphone right now as my phone needed a charge, so I've got it plugged in. So hopefully you can hear me okay. If not, I'll have to dub this over later on. But the first thing we're going to do is try and clean out the channels. If I work the pivot a little bit, you can see there's a fair amount of rust coming out. Another grime. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start by dropping a little bit of oil into the channel to further help loosen things up a little bit. You might notice with each video it may seem like I try different things, and that's because I do. Because there's always an opportunity to learn and improve. Ooh, that's pretty scratchy down in there. There's a lot of grime and rust on that back spring. You can see a lot of nasty coming out of there. This is just a coffee stirrer. If you're at your local coffee shop, maybe they'll generously let you tag a couple extra coffee stirrers, or just reuse the ones you use for stirring your coffee. You can see a lot coming through on the back spring. I like the coffee stirrer because it fits into the channels nicely, and it's wood, so it's not gonna damage any of the metal. It won't scratch up your nickel silver or your brass or your steel. Anyways, I will plug away at this so you don't have to sit through the process, because I know I'm not the most chatty fella most of the time. So I will continue on with this, and we'll get back to you with the next step. There's just a quick peek from running a piece of paper towel into the channel. Very, very dirty channel. Well, you can see here, we got a lot of gunk coming out of this one, a lot of rust. Now, one of the things I like to do before cleaning the pivot is to take a piece of paper towel or a cloth, whatever, pinch tight into the pivot, make sure the blades aren't going to cut you, and just work the pivot. Work it back and forth, back and forth. And that's going to push a lot of that grime and rust out. And at the same time, the paper towel will start to pick some of that up for you. There needs to be a lot of work on this pivot. It's pretty stiff. You can feel a lot of grinding. And then the other thing you need to do is look at that back spring. Look at all the gunk that's coming out with that. Just take a cloth or paper towel and just run your thumb along that. And you'll pick a lot of that off. But you'll have to repeat that process over and over again, because as you work the pivot and the spring rises and falls, it's going to push more and more of the gunk out. So that's just a process you have to repeat over and over again. See how much is coming out? You can kind of chill on your couch, watch TV and do that. Just keep working it back and forth, back and forth. And it will keep pushing that out. Another thing you can do is take compressed air, or if you have a compressor with a very fine nozzle on it, just kind of open your knife a little bit and blow compressed air or air from your compressor into the channel, and it will push a lot of that out of the back spring. And that may be something I do with this one, because there is an awful lot of gunk coming out of this one. Very rusted inside. We've got the channel cleaned out pretty good so far. So that's one step into the process. But just keep working and working that back spring. Find the point where the back spring comes up the highest. It's usually not on the 45 or not fully open or closed, sort of on an angle. And then just get in there with your fingernails and just rub that, all that grime off your back spring. Rinse, repeat, and eventually you'll clean most of it all out. Okay, I'm still at it, folks. I'm telling you, that thing had a lot of rust and dirt in the pivot. That's all just me grabbing the blade, working the pivot, and what's coming out at the pivot. And the channels are quite dirty too, but it's still coming out. It's going to take a while. But I just want to switch gears for a minute. So I'm going to take my carpenter's pencil and try and work some of the rust off. I've stuffed some paper towel down into the channel just to try and keep the carbon from the pencil from clogging up the channel that I've just worked so hard to clean out. I just want to take and just try and scrape some of that rust off. Most of what's on this knife is more staining, I think, than rust. At least from what is visible. But there are some spots of rust I want to just scrape away here. This is a great trick. I think it may have been originated by Watch City Knives. I'm not sure, but whoever came up with it, it's pretty awesome. Nice way to get rid of some rust without having use too many chemicals and whatnot. Let's try a little bit on the back spring here. It's really good for deep, thick rust. In fact, I'll just give you an example here on this knife. You see quite a heavy bit of rust there on the bolster. It's brutal on carpenter pencils, but I mean, you can see just how it took that little bit there right off. Gets you down and shows you what kind of pitting you're dealing with from the rust. So Very neat trick. Nothing quite that thick on this knife, but I'll probably give it the blades and everything a once over, just to make sure we get off what we can before we go to the next step. And be sure to keep wiping the carbon from the pencil away. You don't want that to get into your action on the knife. So we'll take this little bit off here. Not really rust, so I don't know that it's going to have a big impact on that, but I get a little bit off. So it'll work on tarnish as well. Here's my wood block. Let's just try a little touch on the blade just to show you there. So a little bit of tarnish. Let's go for right there. Just above the tank stamp. And always brace your knife when you're doing this stuff. Helps keep it from slipping, so you don't cut yourself inadvertently, and you don't put any undue pressure on your pivot, because you don't want to loosen your pivot. The kind of sad part is you start to see all of the pitting that was hiding under that rust and staining and whatnot. This is a good first once over to get stuff off, and then you can go to a brush, sandpaper if you need to deal with any pitting you want to get off, and on to polishing. There's what that little bit accomplished as compared to the other side. But we're starting to see we've got a little bit of pitting on the blade. So I'll have to decide whether I want to try and even that out or just let it be an old pitted knife, because it's not a super thick blade. It's a flat grind, so I don't want to go too deep on removing any metal. Sometimes you just got to let the scratches and the pits be. Anyways, I'm going to continue on, and we'll check in with you as we make some more progress. Okay, folks. So I've gone over the bolsters and the blade, the back springs and the liners with the carbon pencil. Ta-da. And got some of the staining and rust off. Seeing we got a fair amount of pitting on the blade here now. So next step, I'm going to take what's left of my soft brush here. I really need to pick up some more of these. In fact, maybe I'll use this one here. It's got a little more to it. And just kind of go over the knife a little bit and just try and remove any other dirt and debris I have. And then we'll get on to maybe some polishing. Apologize for the noise. Helps you to plug it in. Yeah, that took a little bit off. I'd really like to remove that pitting, but I just don't think it's worth it. I think what we'll try now is a little bit of polishing. See what that does to clean the blades up. And if that doesn't work, then we'll try some sandpaper. Still a ton of stuff coming out of that pivot. So I think what we'll try is a little bit of this Flitz. This is a new product to me. I've used it on one other knife and had pretty good results. So I'm going to try that. And see if that helps me avoid going to sandpaper. Work that in a little bit. And we'll switch up to a polishing wheel. And let's see what this does for us. That helps a little bit, but I think we may have to go with the sandpaper, particularly on the bolsters. I would like to try and take some of that pitting out of the bolsters if I can. And we do need to do a better cleanup on the pins. So I think we're going to take that path. Okay, so I did some sanding on the bolster. I went from 1000 grit up through 2500 grit. So here's the other side that I didn't touch. And there's that side. So we did get some of the pitting out. Not all of it, but a great deal of it. And then hopefully, let's try a little polish on it right now, see what happens. That's without applying any polishing compound. There's what we get. So I'd say that's a marked improvement at least. I just have to do that with the rest of the knife. We'll catch up with you when I've got a little more done. Alrighty folks, so I went to work with the sandpaper. Went through from 1000 to 2500. I took it to the blade, the bolsters. Still, there's a lot of pitting on the blade, and I'm just not willing to grind down too much on the blade to take that out. Sometimes you just gotta let a knife keep its character. And we did the back springs.
And Dwayne's wife, I did not catch her name.
Aligners. If you hear anything to the side, that's because I'm watching Make Cutlery Great Again live, work on some knives, while I sit here and record as I work on some knives. Don't hit me up with a copyright, Mike. But definitely go check Mike out. He does a live, gosh, just about every night, where he just works on knives, cleans them, sharpens them, chit-chats. You get a great crew of folks in there. There's 65 watching right now, so go check him out. But some of the pins were a little hard to get at. They're kind of inset. But maybe we'll get at them with the polish. So I think what we're going to try now is try a little bit of flits on it again. Just give everything a good coating. Let it sit for a few and then polish it all off. We'll do one side at a time, maybe.
I'm on live, just so you know.
I'm applying it to the covers because I don't think they'll do any damage. Oh, Mike's wrapping it up. Shut that down and continue on. I'm just going to work this in for a bit, and then I will get to polishing. Catch you in a few. Excuse me. Okay, folks, so here we are after a little polish. Get the bolsters all shined up. Get all the tarnish off the blade and a bit of a shine there. The pitting is just going to have to be. I just don't want to risk taking too much meat off the sides of the blade. But, you know, knife comes with character. The bolsters are now back to being fingerprint magnets. Get the liners all shined up. Channel's looking pretty good. Got a little sparkle on the back springs. Brought a little knife back to the covers. A few dings and nicks in there, but not much you can do about that. Still use some refinements, but we got some good action back again. Good snap, particularly on the open. Love the snap on this on the open. We get a clearer look at our tang stamp. Now the last bit is to sharpen it. So we'll grab a little piece of paper here. So here's where we're at right now. Yeah. We can tear, we cannot cut. So I'm going to grab the old work sharp, get to work on that. See if I can do something with that tip. Don't think there's much I can do without really taking a lot of meat off or regrinding to the tip. But I'll see what I can work with it, and then we'll get back to you. Okay. Nice thing about a knife like this, straight blade, it's very easy to sharpen. Got a little bit more of a point to the tip there, but not a whole lot, but it will draw cut. Let's see if we got her sharp first of all. Seems to be good and sharp. Good and easy. I think I'm happy with that. And like I said, we can draw cut with it. So folks, I'm going to call that a job done for now. She was an awful mess down inside, I know that. We managed to get most of the pitting out of the bolsters and get a good shine back. I may do some work yet on those pins. I'm not thrilled with those. They're just inset and hard to get to. God, even the handles are a fingerprint magnet now. There it is. She's got her snap back. Love that snap on the open. So there we have it. Another one done. It's one of those ones I'm not 100% satisfied with. I think I can do more, but I just got to look at a better way to do it. But a pretty cool knife. Nice strong pull. Great snap. Kind of a lazy half stop, not a real solid half stop. A nice snap on the close now. Everything good and tight. For those curious, you've got a close length of about 3 1/3, an overall length of almost bang on 6, a blade length of about 2 1/3, and blade length of almost 2 3/4, close to 2 1/3, 2/3. And a cutting length of about just shy of 2 1/2. Some really nice snap. It's a cool knife. I like it. I hope to find out more about it. One more look at the tang stamp. Midaka. Now I did find a Midaka, Medaka, which is a Japanese maker. But I'm pretty sure that's an I, Midaka. So, anybody out there knows anything about it, I'd appreciate hearing from you. And there we have it. Another one in the books. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned a thing or two maybe. And I'm always learning. So if you've got any tips, I'm more than glad to hear them. And give it a try. Get an old beater knife and try and clean it up. It's very satisfying, very relaxing, very rewarding. And it saves an old knife from the rust heap. Somebody can use it again. So, that being said, folks, we'll call it there. I hope you have a great day, great rest of your week. And as I always say, if life's getting you down, you're getting stressed out, your anxiety's starting to peak, whatever you're feeling that you don't enjoy, go for a walk in the woods. Go have a picnic. Go hang out with some trees. They don't talk back much, but it sounds real nice when the wind blows through. Take a knife with you. Might just come in handy. Y'all take care.